Yo, hold on a second, because this just dropped and it's not small potatoes. The Lions Nation is buzzing with rumors that could change the whole season before the first snap. This is that hot off the press info, the kind of stuff you only get in a real locker room huddle, you know? Ford Field is already breathing this anticipation. The Honolulu Blue is vibrating like it's a playoff game. And we've got details here you won't hear anywhere else, because this is for real fans, by real fans. So tell me, is this about to be a blockbuster move or a bust? Before we dive into this hot news for our beloved Honolulu Blue, do me a solid, fan to fan. This channel is the home of the real Lions Nation, the place where the tradition of Motor City football is alive and kicking. If you feel that same pride, subscribe right now and join the pride. Your support keeps the flame of one pride burning. Listen up, my friend. The name that's been circling strong again is Za'Darius Smith. He's that veteran who's already shown he can bring the heat in the league, 9 sacks last year, and now he's just waiting for the right situation to sign. And yes, our Lions are in the mix. Now think about this. The guy took some time off, traveled, rested, spent time with his family. Now that teams are starting to make roster cuts and see what they're missing, an experienced pass rusher becomes pure gold. To be honest with you, I got chills just imagining him in Honolulu Blue. Because it's not just about talent, it's about presence. It's about leadership. And let's be real, our defense needs someone who comes in and demands respect on the line. Jeremy Fowler, the ESPN insider himself, said several teams are watching, but Detroit has that something extra. Dan Campbell even spoke recently about how hard it is to build a roster, especially with guys who are injured now but should be back during the season. He mentioned names like Josh Paschal, Ahmed Hassanin, and Aleem McNeil. So the math isn't simple. Who do you keep? Who do you cut? Who do you risk losing? It's the classic August puzzle in Motown. But man, imagine solving part of that puzzle by bringing in Smith. And there's more. It's not just about on-field stuff. There's a backstage detail that could weigh heavily. Jackson Meeks, a wide receiver cut from the main roster, could return to the practice squad. And guess who he is? Za'Darius' own nephew. That's right. Think about the motivation. The guy can be close to family, mentor the kid, and build history together in the Motor City. That gives us an advantage no other team has. The fans are already split in online groups. Some are saying, sign him now. Ford Field will go wild. Others are worried about his age, 32 years old, and if he can handle the pace. I'll admit I'm split myself, but deep down, I think the gamble is worth it. Because Detroit doesn't just need promise, we need reality. And I'll tell you what, if this signing happens, it could be that final push our defense needed to become a wall. Then, my friend, Goff and company will play with more freedom knowing they have protection. Comment below if you think Smith still has gas in the tank. I want to hear the voice of the nation, because if this is confirmed, the next piece of news could get even spicier. And I'll tell you now, there's something in the air that directly affects the future of the most important position in American football. Man, I'm about to tell you something that really got to me. The Eagles cut Kyle McCord. Yeah, the kid a lot of people had their eyes on in the pre-draft process, with a strong arm and respectable numbers at Syracuse, is now a free agent. And guess who could get in on this action? Our Lions. Come on, think about it. Goff is still our solid starter. No one is debating that. But what about behind him? That's where the drama starts. During the preseason, Kyle Allen didn't impress anyone. Hendon Hooker, who was a hope, ended up being let go. And all of a sudden we look at the depth chart and see only Allen holding down the fort if Goff goes down with an injury. To be honest with you, that gives me the shivers. A team with big dreams can't live on that razor's edge. McCord, at just 22, has something Detroit is missing: a future. Because Goff is already in his 30s, his contract isn't forever, and so far there's no solid plan for what comes next. And if there's a right time to take a risk, it's now. The kid is unsigned, he won't be expensive, and he brings a resume of nearly 5,000 yards and 34 touchdowns in his last college season. Those numbers don't show up every day, especially with a 65% completion rate. I know some fans look at this sideways and say, a rookie is a lottery ticket, it's not worth it. But think about the situation. If Goff misses 3 or 4 games, does the season go down the drain with Allen? Are we going to depend on luck? We can't, man. We need options. And it's not just about 2025. It's about looking forward, preparing the ground, and making sure the team doesn't enter the quarterback desert when Goff is no longer here. Fans are already debating hard in the forums. Some want the kid now, saying Motown could be the ideal place for him to develop without pressure. Others are afraid of spending energy on a project that won't work out. I, Marcus Johnson, a true fan, say it's worth the shot. Because the risk is low and the potential reward is gigantic. And I'll go further. If the front office doesn't make a move on this now, they might regret it later. Because soon another QB-desperate team is going to scoop up this kid. And then, my friend, we're left with that bitter taste of a missed opportunity. Comment below if you'd be down to see McCord in Honolulu Blue. I want to feel if the nation believes in this bold step. Because something big is coming in the next story. And it's not just about young talent. It's about a vital layer of protection for the heart of the offense. You know that chill you get when you realize the team might be seeing a problem before it turns into a tragedy? Yeah, that's the feeling when the talk turns to Jack Driscoll. The guy was with the Eagles, played 13 games last season. He's not a newspaper headliner, but he offers rare versatility. He can play both guard and tackle. And look, after Frank Ragnow's retirement and the reshuffling that put Glasgow at center, this Lions offensive line is on a knife's edge. To be honest with you, it made me think of Barry Sanders getting clobbered because he had no running room back in the 90s. We can't relive that nightmare now with Goff, who depends on solid protection. Driscoll could be that quiet, cheap, but reliable anchor. Projected contract is around $1 million a year. No heavy bonus, no tying up the cap. What's more Motor City than that? Hard work, low cost, and high performance. And there's another point. Dan Campbell values players who can do multiple things. It's his philosophy. It's in Detroit's DNA. This guy fits right into that culture. John Morton, the new offensive coordinator, is said to be watching him, seeing him as a piece that prevents a collapse if there's an injury to Sewell or Decker. Imagine losing one of them and not having a decent sub. The season would go down the drain. The fans are divided. In the groups, some say he's just a band-aid. Others see it as a long-term strategy. While rookies Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany learn to stand on their own, Driscoll holds down the fort. And honestly, I lean more toward the second group, because protecting Goff is priority number one. Without that, any talk of playoffs is a joke. Another thing that caught my attention, the guy has a quiet leadership profile. He's not a locker room screamer, but he leads by example. That helps a lot in a group that has gone through big changes on the coaching staff. Sometimes what's missing isn't a star, it's stability. And that matters in the day-to-day. Now, I'll tell you straight, if the Lions don't sign him, another team will. The market is cold for him now, but it only takes one injury on a contender for the demand to heat up. And then Detroit loses the chance for a tailor-made reinforcement. And you? Do you think it's worth bringing Driscoll to the Motor City? Comment below, because the next news hits the heart of the fan base hard. It's about a guy who became a symbol of Detroit's resilience, and who is now leaving the team. This one hit different, my friend. Dan Skipper, the giant who won over the fans, was informed that he's off the roster. It's tough to talk about because he's not just a player. He's almost a symbol of the grit that defines Detroit. The guy bounced around from the Broncos, Patriots, Texans, came back to Motown, fought for a spot, and always showed that fighting spirit the city understands so well. Think about it. How many times did we see Skipper get into a training camp scuffle? Not because he was dirty, but because he was defending his team, showing he was alive. Dan Campbell described him as tough, smart, a finisher. That's Lions DNA. But now with roster cuts, the space is gone. He won't go through waivers. He can sign with anyone. And there's a chance he could come back to the practice squad. But it's not the same thing, is it? To be honest with you, this reminded me of the spirit of the Motor City itself. The city that was once called tough, gritty, forgotten, but never gave up. Skipper always represented that. When he refused to report as eligible on that Monday night against the Cowboys, he became an instant hero. It wasn't about the play, it was about the attitude. A message, we are Detroit, we don't back down. In the groups, the nation is split. Part of them understands that the cycle is over, that there's a need to make room for younger guys. The other part is outraged, saying that losing Skipper is losing a piece of the locker room's soul. From the bottom of my heart, I feel like he'll be missed. Not for the technical talent, because he wasn't a star, but for the energy. Sometimes you need that guy who lifts morale, who gives the team a warrior identity, and I'll go further. If he doesn't come back to the practice squad, another team will benefit from what he represents. And we, here, will feel that emptiness. Because Detroit has always been about that. Resistance, pride, resilience. Skipper was almost a mirror of all that. Now the question I can't get out of my head is, did the team lose just an OL or did they lose a piece of their identity? The answer will only feel down the road when the season gets tough. Comment below if you also felt that hit. Because man, the way this week is moving, you can tell the Lions Nation is never short on topics. And hold on, because I'm about to tie all this together in a conclusion that's going to give every last Honolulu Blue fan chills. You know what just hit me? Looking at all of this together, the Lions are living through one of those moments that defines their identity. It's not just about Zadarius Smith, McCord, Driscoll, or Skipper. It's about how Detroit faces every choice, taking a risk on talent, protecting the future, reinforcing the trenches, and at the same time not forgetting who carried the soul of the locker room. This is Motor City football. The nation needs to stick together, commenting, getting hyped, because this is the home of the real Lions Nation. And if the heart is hurting today, tomorrow could be the day for a loud roar at Ford Field.